Okay, so in this video, we are going to talk about interior wall layout. So we know from the start of this semester that this is going to be a design firm, some sort of architectural design firm, or just a straight up architectural office. It could kind of be whatever you want it to be. I thought it'd be fun for it to be sort of a design shop of some kind, but I really will leave that up to you. If you feel strongly that this needs to be a different type of building, by all means, go right ahead. But I've sort of mapped this out a little bit as a architectural office. So if you just kind of want to work along with me, I would just do it how we're work along with me then. Okay, so like, how do we begin laying this out? So, you know, something to think about. W- We're learning Revit. Okay, we're not um, sort of breaking any boundaries on design and how buildings get made. We're not doing that. We're just learning these tools that are at our disposal. So, at the beginning of this course, we started out by creating these volumes or forms, and now we're going to sort of shoehorn our plan, our building into it. What are the program of our building? So the things that need to happen in our building and the spaces that we need, typically called a program. We're going to be like shoehorning that into it. This is certainly not the only way to design. Um, Starting out, this is a very top-down approach, where we're saying, here's this form, and now we're going to jam everything into it. Obviously, there should be some play, right? Maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll lay out real nice. Maybe it won't, and you need to add another bay over here, or you need to reduce your bay size, or something like that. You should feel the freedom to definitely massage the work that you have done so far to make it really work for the what is happening inside the building. It should not be the other way around. It should not be this top down thing, like here's a generic office building, now fit whatever life experience you want inside of it. We're not robots. That's not how it works. And when we design, we have to sort of play at both scales. We have to say, oh, I'm just going to start with this form because it's really catching my eye and it seems to work really nice on the site and work together. And I'm going to just kind of try to get it to work, and I will adjust as I go, and I'll start looking at it from more the experience of being in the space and realizing I might need something more here or might need something more here, in which case I'll adjust and change the form. So I just want to bring that to your attention, that there really is no one way to do this. This is the way we're doing it just so we learn this tool. But please change it as you see fit. Okay, so how do we even go about like starting to lay this thing out, right? Okay, so let me just show you one way to do it to get you started. I'm just deleting these sections so we can really see my floor plan. So here's my cross floor plan, my Latin cross floor plan that I didn't try to do, but wow, you don't really know how deep things are in your psyche, I guess, until you start creating something. um, let's see. I was raised Catholic, but I'm not a practicing Catholic per se, but um, I'm not opposed to religion by any means. I found one wall that is out of place here, and it's aggravating me. So I'm going to get that in place. There we go. Okay, so here's my structure. What am I putting in this, right? So I've made this list for you. Okay, so here is an example program that could very well exist for this structure. It's a two-story structure, um, and we're going to be populating it with an architecture firm. So on the very first level, this might be what's there. We might have an entry vestibule of some kind. For those of you who don't know what a vestibule is, go to the front doors of Madison College or your apartment building. Typically, there's going to be this little room that you come into before you go into the building, which is basically like a really important in our climate, a sort of thermal break from cold to warm or warm to cold, but a room where you can come in, maybe kick the snow off your boots and stuff like that. That's maybe half the heat of what the building is, and then you can sort of move into the building. So that's called a vestibule. So you're going to have some sort of entry vestibule, some sort of lobby area where you're going to be greeted by people of some kind. Then we have sort of a waiting area where you might have a meeting with somebody where you can just chill for a little bit. Um, we want to have some sort of two-story double height space. Oh, excuse me, with an ornamental stair that will be maybe a sort of focal point, a nice space to sort of be in that brings some architectural interest and to the people that are coming to this building. Don't worry about the stair at this point. We just want to leave room for it. But yeah, a double height space is really the important thing. And I'll show you how to sort of add that stuff. Maybe a break room for the employees, some big offices, some small offices. Notice I'm not putting any square footages or anything like that by here. That can be your choice. They should be reasonable though. Like we don't want a 5 by 5 foot office, and we don't want a 24 foot by 24 foot office. Some open work and creative space, some basically open workspace that might be populated with desks, but it's kind of an open office sort of scheme. Big conference room or rooms, small conference room or rooms. So a big conference room might have 8 or 10 people be able to meet in it, where a small conference room might have like 3 to 5 or 2 to 5. Restrooms, of course, a mechanical room, storage spaces, and fire stairs. So the ornamental stair is sort of like a wow, look at that stair and look how creative these people are. Whereas a fire stair is basically to get people out of the building in case of a fire. So, and I'll tell you how to sort of think about that using my structure as an example. But you can count on your fire stair being at least the size of half of your bays. So your bays are 24 by 24. So if you left a 12 foot by 24 foot space, roughly, roughly, cut that bay in half. That would be a good fire stair size to get people up from level 2 down and out. Ideally, on an exterior wall. In fact, it will have to be on an exterior wall. Level 2, again, open work areas, creative space area, a workshop of sorts, library to maybe research cool designs, maybe just a place that serves as sort of a mental break. Big conference rooms, small conference rooms upstairs, fire stairs, restrooms, storage, and mechanical room. And of course, our 2 story space will connect to this. So I think this is good for you guys to sort of wrap your heads around. This is quite a bit actually. But now I just want to show you how you can think about it. So one thing I did in this level is I just printed out my plan as is, right? So it's this kind of cross. I just printed it out. I didn't even care about the scale or nothing like that. Just print the darn thing on 8.5 by 11 and sketch on it. Maybe put a piece of trace on it or something like that, and just sketch some ideas. So let me open up my sketches just to show you how I am thinking about this. Okay. So here would be my first floor. Let me see if I can rotate my view here. Yeah, let me just save this to the desktop. 1 second. Okay. Ah, there we go. So here is my first floor sketch. Notice how messy it is. That's fine. I'm sort of thinking through it as I do it, and I'll explain it in just 1 minute. Let me just download the, sorry I didn't do this before, but let me just download the, save images. Okay. Okay. So here's how I thought about what would be a cool layout. Okay, remember this is a two-story bar. This is a one-story bar. So I thought, okay, I like how this is centered right in this base. So this is going to be my vestibule. This is going to be my main entry. Everybody kind of walks up to the structure. They get a good view of this two-story like craziness, and then they come into this little vestibule. They come in here, and this is sort of the lobby, right? This is where they're going to be greeted by somebody. Maybe I'll have a little wall here with the company name on it, and have like a little kitchenette behind here. So let's say I'm some sort of receptionist. I can be like, "Would you like some coffee? Let me go get that for you," and I can give you a coffee. You can go into this space, which would be like the waiting room. Now, notice I'm using my structural bays here. I don't want to just sort of plop things in. I I want the program to fit to my structure. So that's what I meant by you're going to have to do some massaging and things like that. On the end here, I'm thinking I might have two conference rooms. So maybe if I'm meeting a visitor here, I can take them right into a conference room over here and we can chat. I don't have to take them all traipsing all the way through the building. Okay, then as I go this way, right? This is my waiting area. Nice big, huge waiting area that I can do all kinds of cool things in. Then I move into a two-story space. So right now I'm moving from the one-story structure into the two-story structure. The floor will be cut out above me, and I can see up into the spaces up there, and my ornamental stair will be somewhere in there, right? Maybe it's over on this side. And here I put it kind of right here. I don't really know what that means, but that's sort of where it'll be. Then I think what I decided here is I'm going to do a big office here, big office here. I'm going to do fire stair, fire stair. I'll do a small office, small office. This will be all open workspace here, this sort of U shaped. And this is a corridor back here. And then this block, this black block right here, is really going to be my mechanical storage and restrooms, the things that don't really need or want windows. Okay. That's the sort of core of the building that will, I'll use the backdrop of that wall right here to have my ornamental stair come up and do some really cool branding or something on that wall. And then in the back, I'll have two really nice size 24 by 24 roughly conference spaces. Okay, so that's my level one. Now here's my level two. I already screwed up on it because I was like, wait, I can't put anything over here because there's nothing over there. Um, this my level two is only right here, this bar. Now, if you remember, I got a two-story space coming up here, some sort of stair coming up in some way, and then another block of the same stuff, restrooms, mechanical storage. Perfect spot for that, right in the middle of the building. Then I have open space over here, got a conference room here, a library here, and a workshop or something on this side. Fire stairs on both sides. So you might be like saying, like, gosh, you have three stairs in this thing. Do we really need that many stairs? The answer is no. We really only need these two stairs, but I think the ornamental stair might be a cool design touch that I want to add. Um, and why do we need two fire stairs like this? Well, here's a good way to think about it. If I only had one of these and there's a fire over like right here and I'm over here, I can't get out, right? So if there's a fire somewhere in between here, people are trapped over here on the second floor. They can't get out. So you're going to need to add a stair over there. So a good way to sort of think about in your head is like, how many stairs do I need? Well, can you get out? And do you possibly have two options to get out? So in this case, you would have this one and probably the ornamental stair to get out. And if there's a fire over here, you'd have these two stairs possibly to get out. Course is going to come up to code review and all that kind of stuff, but just something for your structures to think about as to how many fire stairs you need. That would be good to think about. Okay, so how do we start laying this out? So I am just going to take, for example, let me move this one over. I'm just going to draw, let's just draw this vestibule together. Okay. And then I'll pause it. I'll do the rest of my stuff. And then I'll bring you back and show you what it might look like all laid out. Okay. So I'm going to move this over and I'll look at it on this screen, but I know that my vestibule is going to live roughly in the middle, take up half of this bay here. Okay. So for my interior walls, yeah, I might want this to be like a glassy vestibule, but for now, let's just make everything an interior wall system. I don't really want to worry about what's glass and what's not because we can add that later. Okay, so I'm going to go up to architecture, wall, and I'm going to choose generic 5 inch would actually be a good one to do, or you can just do interior 4 and 7/8, which is a typical metal stud wall, drywall on both sides. Okay, you could do that, or you can do an interior. Let's do this interior 5 inch partition. So this would be metal stud, layer of drywall, another layer of drywall, which gives you a 2 hour window for fire protection. Okay. Too much information, but that's the one we're going to use. So I'm going to click that and I'm going to say, let's go to level 1 to level 2. Let's start there. I'm going to place this completely in the wrong place and I'm not going to really worry about it because I'll use my align tool to reposition it. But one thing to notice is that our wall already got absorbed by that exterior wall. So I'm going to go to modify align and I'm going to move this wall like this. Okay, that looks good. Um, where this one is, let's see. I could remember I could click through these. Mm, So right now my interior dimensions here are 11 and change. So let's say, oh, let's make this 10 feet. Okay, that is a reasonable vestibule. I might not even want it that wide, but for now I'm going to leave it there. Let's go to our 3D view. Okay, and let's just play around here. Now remember, my structure is not in the right location on that lower roof there, but that's fine. So let's just grab this wall and this wall and this wall, and I'm just going to click hide in view elements. So now I can do this and I can really take a look at what's going on down there. Okay, there's my little vestibule that I drew in. I'm happy with where that is. I can see though that my wall is going too high, so it's going to through the roof again. Let's go to our level 1 floor plan and let's just go ahead and draw a section right here. Let's just take a look. Okay, so here's my vestibule wall. Yep, it's going way too high. So for those 3 walls, I want to drop them down a foot. So I'm gonna go to my level 1 floor plan. I'll grab those 3 walls and pretty much any wall. So I'll say top offset -1 foot. Any wall that I'm putting in on the first floor plan, it's going to have that relationship -1 foot top offset. So it goes to the roof but doesn't crash through it. Okay, I also know that I wanted I want 2 conference rooms here. So I want them to use this wall, so I'm just going to drag this wall all the way over. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and let me turn on. There we go. A little more detail. Let's try medium. What's medium do? Oh gosh, nothing. Let's go back to fine. Okay, we have some columns and stuff here that we're going to have to sort of work around and probably box out and things like that. So what you might want to do is go to architecture, column, column architectural. Here we go. Rectangular 24 by 24. Oh, let's do an 18 by 18. I'm going to put that right on that column. And look at that. It gets boxed out right with our wall. Very nice. This is going from level 1 to level 2. I'm going to do a top offset of -1 foot. Boom. There we go. So I have a nice box out around that column. I'm going to do the same thing, architecture column, architectural around this one. There we go. I do all these ones. The corner. We're essentially just hiding our structure very nicely. So nothing. There we go. So, we're getting all these little weird corners and things like that. So one thing you might want to do is say, I might want to move this wall up so it's even with this right here. So I could go modify, align. There, just move that wall up. So now I have a nice clean interior vestibule, and little bump outs and stuff can show in the conference rooms. So I could do the same column architectural. I'll do it here. I'll just finish off these couple bays. There we go. There's nothing here, other information there because there's no other walls around it. This just kind of absorbs our wall. And I'll move this now just like I did the other one. That's nice. So that feels like a better vestibule, a better relationship. Um, okay, let's add a wall. Here's a quick way. Instead of going through the walls and finding it, I can just select a wall, right click, create similar, and I'll just put this one right here. Okay, so uh, I'm seeing the two layers of gypsum board and the stud space in between. Now, if I drag this little dot up, I can see it looks a little different. We don't have to worry about those sort of details, but if you want to sort of play around with them and just understand how they work, that's perfectly fine. So that looks good. So now I've got conference room, vestibule, and I believe I had like a little like wall I want to put over here. So let's do that. So let's go. Um, I'm gonna go right click, create similar. Which is nice about this is it'll keep the top offset too. Oh, I'm gonna do like 2 foot, some amount, 2 foot. Now I'll position it where I want. So let's see. Hmm, here's what I'll do. I'm gonna line it up with this wall first, and I'm gonna say, let's move it down 3 feet, and let's take this, line it up with this wall, so that looks weird, and now I'm gonna move that up 3 feet. Now I have like a 3 foot walkway around this thing. Now, how much space do I want here? Oh, let's say 8 feet. There we go. So I got space for my kitchenette back there. So let's put in a couple doors. Architecture, door. We'll just use this 36 by 84 foot, 4 inch door for now. I'm just gonna, now, if I hover over and click with my space bar, you can see it spin around. So that's good. I'll position this one in. They're in the wrong spot, and that's fine. Let's get these in the right spot. So what I'm gonna do to help me do this is I'm gonna go, let's see, annotate detail line. So I'm just gonna draw a line at the middle of this wall, and I'm just gonna draw a line out to here, just so I know where the middle is of this portion right here, because I want these doors to be kind of hugging that. So let's go modify. Boom, there, that one's in position, and that one's in position. Now I can delete that line. I can grab these doors. I can copy, and let's try that again. Copy, and I'm gonna put them. Oh, it doesn't. Well, maybe I can unconstrain it. get it right in the middle of these. There we go. And these, actually, all these doors would have to go the other direction. Select the door. You can find that button. There you go. So, you always want to have the doors go out so people are running out in a panic. They don't have to go to the door, stop, open the door, and then go out. There's a famous case about a theater that had a fire that had that problem where they were going the wrong way. And I think this is where the law changed. But a lot of people lost their lives because everyone ran to the door but stampeded the first person there, and then they couldn't back up enough to get the darn thing open. I mean, how that's nuts. So, yay, that's a depressing story for you. Okay, so got my vestibule set up. Let's get a door into each of these conference rooms. Now, keep in mind, I might change this to be sort of a glassy entrance, but that'll come in when we talk about the curtain walls that I haven't talked about yet, the glass walls. Okay, so I'll just grab one of these doors and say right click, create similar, flip this guy around, flip this one around, and then I will position this where I want it. So actually, we want to do, there we go. 4 inches from there would be good. And 4 inches here. That's a nice placement for those doors. So let's go to our 3D model and see the work we've done. Yeah, here are doors out here. We have that wall hidden, so that's why we're not seeing anything there. Got those doors in. Kind of looks like an uneventful space and kind of sad and gray, but don't think of it that way. Just let's just double check. Actually, let me go to perspective view and see if, yeah, that feels a little better to navigate around. Okay, that's looking good. So my my plan is starting to work. It's coming to life. Um, I think what I'll do, and you can see here that all of my stuff sort of goes right up to the roof, and then it would be cool to see this structure sort of come down a little bit. So we don't really have to worry about how our walls and stuff interact with the structure per se, but I just don't want them to hit the roof structure. So this is really starting to come to life. So what I'm going to do now is sort of lay out the rest of my plan, how I thought would be good according to ba-ba-da-ba, ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba, this. So I will put in all the walls and I'll sort of massage and move things around and be like, no, that doesn't work. That does work. And sort of get everything into place. One last thing I want to show you, and you've done this already too, is annotate room tag right here. Okay, so I'm going to grab this room tag. So that's under annotate tag room tag. And uh, with area, let's see if we can, what's not working here. Ah, I know why. Duh. Architecture. Let's go architecture first, then go to room and area and select room. And let's go to room tag with, with area. So I'm going to put this one right here. Okay, there's room 1. Here's room 2. Here's room 3. So as I get them, I'm just sort of putting them in. So now I can go in and change the name of this. I'll call this entry vestibule. That's not letting me stack that, but you can sort of position it, excuse me, where you see fit. Wherever's the most readable. That's what I would do. So this is going to be a conference room. And this is going to be a conference room. Okay. Now, this area, oops, this area is a little different, right? Because I really want to put a room here and call this lobby. but here's watch what'll happen. Architecture, room, it wants to do that entire space all the way up, and that's because I don't have any walls in there. Okay, so what we need to do is place a room separator. So to do that, we need to click on the tool right next to the one we were on. So it's architecture, room and area, room separator, and it wants us to draw a line, right? So I'm going to draw one actually right at the corner, and I'm going to go all the way over to here, let's say. Okay. Right. So I have a room separator right here. So now I'm going to click on room, and notice now it stops there. But I'm going to add another room separator for the back where this kitchenette is. So I'm going to hit escape, go to room separator, and I'll do it one right here. And I will do one right here. Now, we don't have to see these lines. I can turn them off later, but just so you can see them, keep them in. Now I'll go to room. I'm going to click here and I'll call this lobby, and I'm going to call this kitchen. Oh, kitchen. Call this lobby. Oh, and then this will be my sort of waiting area. Okay, that's looking good. Now, keep in mind, room separator is not a three-dimensional thing. Like I can see them on the ground there, and I'll be able to turn them on and off in here if I want to, but it's not like a three-dimensional. Well, it is kind of a three-dimensional, but it's not architecture you would see once the building is done. Let's put it that way. Okay, I mean, this will be a cool conference room because I think my plan is I'm going to do some cool windows on the side here, but then some big glassy opening on this end. And then I'll be able to see once I move them down, all my joists move down. So that'll be a really nice room. Okay, so here's what I want you to do for your assignment for this portion. We've talked about getting the exterior wall in there, talked about getting the floors and the roof in there. For this portion, I want you to basically work out your level one and level two floor plan. So we already set up the sheet for A101 level one floor plan. So it's already taking shape. I've just been working in my level one floor plan view, and that's all you really need to do. And then you just go to your sheet and then you print me this sheet and your level two. And so that is your assignment. So really, you're just going to give me two PDFs, but there's a lot of work that's going to go into this. Um, you won't have any stairs in here and you won't have any windows. I know I said in an earlier video that we're going to do windows, but given the extent of what this will take, I think this is good. We'll do windows with curtain walls. Um, yeah, so that sounds good. So just work on the programming and laying everything out. Make sure you have room and spaces for your fire stairs. Okay. One last thing, though, I do want to show you how to do so you're aware. You remember in my first floor plan right here, I want to do this two-story space right here. So that means my level two is cut off. Level the two floor plan, it has a hole cut in it, right? So how do we do that? Okay, pretty simple, right? So I'm going to go to level two floor plan. Now I'm going to go and tab on this edge until I select my wall. So that's a chain of walls. What's this? That's a floor. Now I'm going to click. So now I've selected my floor. It's my generic 12-inch. Now I'm going to go up to the toolbar here and I'm going to select edit boundary. I'm going to click that. So here's my boundary, right? That rectangle we initially drew. But I want this right here to be cut out. So how do I do that, right? So I'm just going to take my line and I'm just going to draw that in there. Come on. Right where I want it. There we go. Now, this isn't a correct drawing. It will give me an error, okay? Because I have to cut this portion out. It has to be one continuous line that defines the whole floor plate. It can't be weird like this. Let me show you why it's weird. If I trace this line around, everything's looking good. Yep, one line, no big deal. Coming around. Here, there's a split. Do I go this way or this way, right? That's not legal in these. So I need to trim this out. So what I'm going to do is split this line, and then I'm going to go to my trim extend to corner, and I'm going to go boom, 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 boom. Now I have a kind of U-shaped floor plate, which is perfect, exactly what I want. I'll hit my green check, close that. I will save the project though right now, just make sure it's saved. I'll go to my 3D view. Okay, it looks like nothing happened. But if I select my roof here and right click, say hide in view element, rotate down, and boom, look at that cool two-story space we created. I can also look this way and say, oh yeah, I can see up there. Now we'll eventually remove structure that we don't want there anymore because we want that to be a nice open volume. But for now, well, it's part of my linked one, but you can sort of go to your linked file and delete those elements if you like. But this looks good. So if you had your whole floor plan sort of laid out, you're in good shape. So that is the assignment for next week. Really work out this floor plan. I will do the same, and I will work out my floor plan, and so I have something that we can both go off of next class. Okay, so 2 floor plans is all you owe me from these videos. Okay, a lot of content this week. I will send you the list too of the program that I want you to include. All right, guys, thanks so much.